Rebel Force Radio presents
Star Wars Cantina.
Where are you going, Master?
For a drink.
Sorry about the mess.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
We're here at Dallas Star Wars Fan Days 2 with Darth Vader himself, Dave Prowse. How you doing, Dave?
Hi, very well, thank you. Very well.
Last time I saw you, we were just talking about this before we started the show. We were out in Japan together.
Yeah.
For
Celebration Japan. Great convention.
And I regret I didn't have the chance to talk to you out there.
Yeah.
But I did see you. If you remember, you were there the day before the event opened to pick up your pictures, and we walked you back to your hotel room. We walked behind the convention center.
That's right, yeah.
It was myself, Dan Curtle from Rebel Scum, and Dave Myatt, and we were your escort. And I said, if you remember, I said, forget Vader's fist, you're with Vader's ass. Okay, so let's get the interview going. Something else you told me in Japan was you're doing something with a heavy metal band now?
Yes, I'm their personal manager actually for a group called Losing Sun.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they refer to them as a heavy metal anymore. They're called progressive rock.
Okay.
And but they're a really great group, and we've. Since I've been involved with them, everything's happened. We've got sponsorships from all sorts of different people. Everything from drums to guitars to clothing to booze to. You name it, we got everything. It's absolutely wonderful. Now we've got our own record label. Mm-hmm. We got our distribution worldwide. They've just come back from India, where they've been negotiating the rights to all the music in India. Yeah. And they're now on tour. They're doing a tour at the present moment of Germany, Austria, and England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going very, very, very well.
So how does Darth Vader get hooked up with a progressive rock band?
I just joined them primarily because I felt they needed some good publicity. Mm-hmm. And I said to them, what are you doing? I said, I'd never heard of you. When I met them at a sci-fi convention of all places. And I said, I'd never heard of you. How would you get publicity? And they said, well, we pick up local publicity when we do gigs around the place. I said, no, but I'm talking about national publicity and things like that. He said, no, we never get any. I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me come on board. I said, I'll come on. I said, it won't cost you anything. I said, I'll come on board and I'll get the publicity for you. So the first thing I did was employ a public relations agent, and she put out a flyer, and it says, Losing Sun, which is the name of the group. The Losing Sun gets intergalactic help from Darth Vader, and everybody jumped on it,
Sure.
And we had the radio stations, the TV stations, everybody jumped on it. And for about 6 weeks, I did nothing else but interviews on behalf of the group.
That's really amazing. Do they take advantage of the fact that you're Darth Vader? Is any musical tributes to you?
No,
or Darth?
no. I want them to. This is the whole point. If you can get publicity, just on there are so many bands, trying to get publicity and trying to get on the scene and trying to get record deals and things like this, And I said, well, you cannot have a better peg to hang your hat on than Darth Vader in Star Wars,
Wow.
And as I said, it's worked a treat.
Where can people go if they want to pick up the CD?
It will be on sale, through the record shops and things like this. But at the moment, I think you can log on to Scuzz TV and hear the band, or if you log on to Losing Sun, you can hear them on the internet.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe that Darth Vader.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
Is now,
isn't it?
you're like Colonel Tom Parker.
I wish I was. Yeah, I wish
really
I was. Funny enough, I got another group now.
Yeah.
Just got in touch with me and asked me if I would look after them, and it's a pop rock group called Mars Patrol.
Wow.
And so I'm hoping we'll be able to do something with them. And I also, on top of all that, is I'm actually singing myself. I've been having singing lessons for about 5-6 years.
Really?
Yeah, and I've not very long ago, a couple of years ago, I went out to Las Vegas and sang with Howard Keel. And because I'm like a ballad singer, I love all the big songs from the big musicals and things like this, And then just recently, I went out to San Francisco, where I put down a couple of tracks with a jazz pianist, and I'm hoping to record a tribute album to Howard Keel, and it'll be me singing all the major Howard Keel numbers,
Wow.
Oklahoma and all the stuff. That
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well,
I've always been interested in music, but I've only just recently have really decided to try and do something with it, you know. And I think it's a good gimmick, you know. Darth Vader sings, as it were.
Yeah, right. Maybe you can.
But I'm a bass baritone, see. So I mean, it's I'm not a pop crooner or anything like this, you know. But I do like the big ballads and like singing songs like Old Man River.
Old Man.
That's
River.
right, Old Man River. Yes, yeah. I can get you. Got to get a bit lower than that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot lower.
Yeah.
A lot lower, and people expect Darth Vader to have that very low voice, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, when did you learn that your voice wasn't going to be used in Star Wars?
I didn't know until the film came out. First thing that happened was when the film came out in America, and I mean I did the voice all the way through the movie, and I kept on saying to George, you know, what are we going to do about the voice, because everything I'm saying is coming through the mask and is obviously no good for reproduction purposes. It's okay, you can hear me and the sound engineer can hear me and all the rest of it, but it's no good for reproduction purposes. And you say, well, don't worry, we'll go into the studios and re-record all your lines at the end of the shoot. So I automatically assumed that it was me that was going to go into the studios and re-record all the lines, you see. Anyway, they got to the end of the movie, chased back to America because they couldn't get all the special effects that they wanted in the UK. And then while they were in the UK, while they were in America, I think they just made the decision that, number one, they wanted Darth to have an American voice. And I think it was obviously a lot more convenient to get a major voiceover artist to do the Darth Vader voice, rather than ship me all the way from England out to America, and then maybe you know it not be the right thing, as it were, you know. And I think James Earl Jones came in and did it. I think he did a wonderful job. I still think I could have done equally as well, given the opportunity.
Yeah.
And
so you were a little disappointed by that.
But the thing was, he says, I didn't know anything about it, and then the film came out in America. And we got all this publicity coming over saying what a fantastic movie it was and things like this. And almost the first thing that happened for me was I got a cable from a very famous American film director called Russ Meyer.
Yes.
And who I did a film for him a couple of years previous. And he says, congratulations, Dave, you're in the biggest movie of all time. By the way, did you know they've overdubbed your voice? And that was the very first I've heard. And nobody from Lucasfilm has ever come up to me and said why they overdubbed my voice. Yeah.
Obviously,
there's all sorts of silly rumours have gone round, you know.
Yeah, like what kind? What kind of rumours?
Well, I mean, I just picked up a card today, and it's a very, very nice new one of these sort of like not Topps card, but one of these cards with lovely picture of me on the front, and on the back of the card it says Dave Prowse's voice wasn't used for Darth Vader because of his strong West Country accent. Who used to be called Darth Farmer on the set. Well, I mean that was absolute bullshit, because I mean the only person that ever referred to me as Darth Farmer was Harrison Ford. Nobody ever said Darth Farmer to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, who can get away with that other than Harrison Ford?
But I mean, the thing is, you know, when you're doing something like Darth Vader, you don't. I mean, if you want to do a really heavy West Country accent, you can go like, "Oh, my dear," you know, I can hit thee with me lightsaber and all this sort of things. You know, you tend to. I mean, West Country people tend to overpronounce things like ers and rs.
Okay.
And for that reason, you know, they think you're some sort of yokel bumpkin, as it were. You know, I've done Shakespeare. I've done all sorts of different things, and there's no problems with my learning lines and delivering dialogue.
Right.
And as I said, given the opportunity, I think I could have done equally as well as James Earl Jones.
Now we're here standing in front of a bust of Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi. What are your thoughts on Alec Guinness?
Well, I enjoyed working with him. Yeah. I enjoyed working with him. I found him very pleasant, and we had a few weeks together on working on set. The only thing I've I recently read his biography. Yeah. Which is obviously written by somebody else, and I thought, well, it's a huge, great tome. You know, there's like 600 pages or something like this. And I thought I'll have a look at the index and see if I get a mention in this book. You see. Yeah. So I looked through the index, and page 475 or something that says Dave Prowse. That, you know, as a one, just obviously not very much said. So I found page 475, and when I first met Alec Guinness, I had to go to. They organised a lunch for Alec Guinness and myself, George Lucas and Gary Kurtz, you see. And so we went out and we had this lunch, and And then we went from the restaurant over to the studios where we met up with the stunt arranger, and it was obviously the lunch was for me to meet Sir Alec, because obviously I was going to kill him off in the movie anyway,
right.
and also to meet up with the stunt arrangers so that we could arrange to do the sword fight. You see, so anyway, so that was my introduction to him, and I worked, and then of course I worked with him on the actual film itself for over a couple of weeks. And I said, but when it comes to the book, it just says, my entry into the book, it says, had lunch today with the gentleman who's going to play Darth Vader, Dave Prowse. I fear he is not an actor. Yeah, I know.
Really?
I know. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not an actor. I never ever thought of myself as an actor, to be honest. Well, I've never had a day's dramatic training in my life, and before I came into show business,
right.
I'd never done any amateur dramatics or church dramatics or anything like this. I was getting all the roles that I could handle purely and simply because they wanted a big, reasonably good-looking bloke with a good physique and so on and so forth to do the types of roles which I specialised in.
Obviously, you had a career in bodybuilding, and you still look like you're in really good shape. You still pumping iron?
Still pumping iron, yeah.
Speaking of pumping iron, you worked out with Arnold Schwarzenegger a good deal?
I never worked out with him. But
you guys used to compete,
we used to do shows together.
Right.
Like he was the Mr. Universe at the time, and I was the British heavyweight weightlifting champion.
Yes.
And so we used to go giving exhibitions together.
Right. Arnold was a bodybuilder.
He was a bodybuilder.
You did powerlifting,
I was powerlifting, then what we call Olympic lifting, yeah. Yeah.
What'd you max out at when you were? What kind of lifting did you specialize in?
Well, I held all sorts of British records. I had a British record for the deadlift, which is just picking weights up off the floor and standing up with them.
Yeah.
I picked up 678 3/4.
Wow.
That was a British record. Then I went out to Scotland and became the first person ever to lift the Dinnie Stones, and that was 780. And I became the first person ever to do it.
Wow.
And then I used to bench press 500. I used to standing press 330. Snatch about 270, jerk 360. I was never a very good squatter. That was my biggest problem.
Yeah.
I did a 500, but that was nowhere near good enough, not for serious competition.
Did you do any Olympic training?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was British heavyweight Olympic champion.
Okay. Oh, so you were an Olympic champ?
Yeah. No, not Olympic champion.
Okay.
What they call in the as far as Olympics are concerned, you compete on what they call the three Olympic movements, which in those days were the press, snatch, and jerk.
Okay.
So I was British champion on that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Used to press 330, standing press 330, snatch 270, and jerk 360.
Shoo. Wow.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was nothing like what the Russians and the Americans were doing.
Well, I need someone like you around the house when it comes time to move the furniture and stuff,
Move all your Star Wars equipment.
Well, there's plenty of that to move around, too. Speaking of which, do you have a collection of Star Wars memorabilia?
No.
Nothing?
No, odd bits and pieces, but nothing. I was never a collector.
What about props?
And my wife, no, never. No, nothing. And my wife is one of these people who says, no, she said, Star Wars has ruled your life for the last 30-odd years. She said, I don't want anything to do with Star Wars in the house.
Nothing in the house.
So when I had my gyms, I used to fill it with all my memorabilia from the different films and TV shows that I'd done, and lots of photographs and things. And I said, but when I packed the gyms up, I brought all the stuff home thinking that I was going to put it up around the house, and she said, no. The house is private. Thank you very much.
Don't fans give you things though?
Not a lot. No,
nothing especially.
No, nothing really. No.
So, one time I talked to you, it was prior to the release of Episode 3, and you told me you weren't too fond of the prequels. What did you think of Episode 3?
Well, I still don't think that the episodes 1, 2, 3 were a patch on the episodes 4, 5, and 6. The only thing with Episode 3 was I think it sort of tied up all the odds and ends nicely and got you very, very nicely into Episode 4. Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker was good. Yeah. But I thought Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader was terrible.
Okay.
They obviously tried to build him up at one stage. Then they put him on sort of 5-inch blocks. And so when he actually walked, you look like Frankenstein walking towards you.
Yes.
I think there are all sorts of problems that way, but he had it in his contract that if he wanted to play Vader, he could. So, and although I let everybody know that I was available and I wanted to do it, and in fact I was out in Australia when they filmed,
right?
They totally ignored me, nobody took any notice of me whatsoever.
Huh.
I still, of episodes 1, 2, 3, I still think number 3 was the best of the best of the 3.
Yeah.
But they're still not a patch on episode 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. They kept the Darth to a very minimal amount of screen time in 6.
Yeah.
But to our listeners, you are Darth. You will always be the Darth Vader.
I think so too. I have a wonderful fan association. The fans love me, and I love the fans as well. I'm totally indebted to them for their fantastic support and their loyalty and going to see the movies all the time. I think it's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's given me a career lasting 31 years.
Right. So what is it about Star Wars that has that lasting appeal?
I don't know. Well, there are so many things. I mean, I think you have a fantastic story to start with, a very classical story of good triumphing over evil. You got the whole thing put into this brilliant sci-fi setting, which nobody had ever seen anything like it before. I think then you got terrific special effects, which we'd never seen anything like it before. Right. And then you had this terrific love of the characters themselves. You had Mark, who was like the happy-go-lucky handsome boy, as it were. And you had the beautiful princess who's fallen in love with, and then you got Harrison Ford, who's like a big swashbuckling, happy-go-lucky, I think that the whole world identified with various people within the movie, and then of course you got Darth Vader, who's this who eventually became the most evil villain of filmdom history, which of course I thrilled to bits about.
Yeah, obviously.
As long as people realise it's an acting role, and I'm not like that normally.
There was a presence that you added to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
That was distinctly Dave Prowse.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone listening to this show can recognize that.
Well, I think one of the things actually, when you get a role like Vader, the first thing you do is you get your walk right, establish the walk. Yeah. And I think this is the one thing that you notice about when Vader was walking anywhere.
Yes.
It's like everybody that sort of were with him were virtually subservient to him, and almost had to run to catch up with him and things like this, And I think that established everything: the walk and the swagger and all the sort of hand actions. Because don't forget, you doing the whole thing in a mask and a helmet. You've got no facial expressions,
right?
And I mean, all you got is the way you do the dialogue and the way you express yourself with your hand and arm actions.
Wow. On the set, did you ever have any accidents in the Vader costume?
Only one with Sir Alec Guinness. I hit Alec Guinness over at one stage when we were.
Did,
yeah.
huh?
Oh yeah, hit him flying. Yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't in the book. It didn't end up in the book.
I don't know which book you're reading. Yeah.
Well, now what about your book? Is that still available?
It's just now going to be. It's now with a literary agent over here.
Great.
In America, and with a view to going to the the big publishing houses. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping it's going to get worldwide distribution. Now,
you started keeping a diary on the set of, was it Empire?
I started on Empire, yeah. And, I didn't do it on Star Wars. I did it on all the way through Empire Strikes Back. And I keep it now every day. I still do it.
You still do it?
Still do it, yeah.
Just started as a hobby?
This will be in the diary when I go home.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you'll be written up.
Oh, yeah. I'm honored.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fun experience, obviously, everything involving Star Wars. What was your favorite one of the three to work on?
Of the three, I liked Empire.
I
liked Empire best. So it's totally different. In Star Wars, you had a director, George Lucas, who never spoke a word to you. He hardly ever said a word. And I think George is one of these directors who, if you're giving him what he wants, doesn't interfere. Mm-hmm. As long as you give him what he wants. If there's anything you're doing wrong, then he will interfere. But I mean, all the way through. The only thing he used to ever say to me was well, you come in here and you deliver your dialogue there and you walk off there, and that was it. And I thought, well, that's a strange way of directing, directing an artist, as it were. But that was it. I mean, that was all I ever had.
Wow.
But Kirshner used to sit down with you and just discuss everything and tell you what you should be thinking and where you were going and where you'd been. And
wow.
Yeah, he was wonderful to work with.
Yeah. How about some other thoughts on Kirshner as a man, as a director?
I liked him very much. He was very pleasant to work with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how about Billy D?
Billy D's nice. Yeah, I like Billy D. I've seen him lots of times, over the years.
On the circuit.
I meet up with him, at conventions and all the rest, and he's always very, very pleasant to me.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't seen Harrison Ford.
No.
Not since the movie. But Mark, I see. I won't say on a regular basis, but I've seen Mark. He came over to England for the what we call Celebration Europe.
Yes.
And they all the press got hold of it. Darth meets his son after 30 years.
Yes, I saw the video.
We got some wonderful publicity out of it. One of the big national newspapers.
Yeah.
Got an exclusive on it,
They had the hallway of the counselorship from A New Hope set up, and you and Mark.
That's right.
Some great photo ops.
Some great photographs. I know.
I caught all that on the internet.
Yeah.
Awesome. And of course, he was out in Japan too. Did you get a chance to talk to him?
There. Yeah, he was lovely. I asked him if he would sign some photographs for a charity that I'm involved with, UNICEF charity, And I asked him if he would sign some photographs. You see, and he said, I'll sign them for you. He said, I won't do them for you now. He said, I'll sign them for you later. You see. So I sat. I was sat there signing all day, and it was getting towards the end of the day, and there was no sign of Mark, and then no sign of these photographs. You see, so I sent somebody over to where he was signing, and they came back and they said, "Oh, Mark wants to come over and see you personally." And next, within about 10 minutes, he turns up and he said, Dave, these pictures. He said, can I sit down with you? And he said, what I want to do. He said, I want to write special dedications on all of them. And I only wanted 3 pictures, and he gave me about a dozen.
Wow.
He gave me about a dozen, and every one had a different inscriptions. It says "Welcome to Tatooine," and welcome, all sorts of things relative to the picture that he signed. Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, and he gave me about a dozen photographs for the charity, and the charity would have made a fortune out of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. See, I hope this gets back to Mark.
He's really lovely. Yeah, lovely guy.
Yeah, I actually had the opportunity to meet him out in Japan too. Have a few conversations with him, and I really just can't say enough about the guy, and his son Nathan's a really nice kid too.
Yeah, very nice. I've met him a few times.
Yeah. So Kirsch, and then moving from Kirsch to Richard Marquand.
I had no association with him whatsoever.
No,
I got ostracized from the movie. I had the worst movie I've ever worked on in my life.
Wow.
Well, I got accused of giving information away to the press, and because of that, although of course I denied every bit of it. They Lucasfilm wouldn't believe me, wouldn't believe the real story, the true story, and Marquand never spoke to me for the entire picture.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and whenever anything was wanted, with Darth Vader, they dressed my stuntman up, and it was really one of the most embarrassing, horrendous movie experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, with all due respect to the man, it seems
I'd rather
rather
not talk about any more about it.
Okay, well, he's paid to direct.
But it's still got to come from the top. It's still got to come.
Right.
As I said, some of this institutes, the policy of ignoring you, as it were,
But you didn't leak that. You didn't leak that information.
No, of course I didn't. I knew nothing. We knew nothing. When the film started, both on Empire Strikes Back and on Return of the Jedi, we never had a script.
Yeah.
So we never knew the story of the film. And the only thing you used to get, they used to send you your pages down on the night before you were working, and so you used to have to learn. You had to sign for your pages when they used to come by motorbike. And so you have to stay at home. You have to sign for the pictures, sign for the pages, learn your lines overnight, then go back to the studios the following day and hand your pages back in. All right, and then go off and act and deliver your lines. Right. And that was how it worked. So the only thing I knew about either of the movies was the tiny little bit that I was working on. I mean, even like on Empire Strikes Back, at the end of Empire Strikes Back, I didn't know that I was Luke Skywalker's father until I went to see the movie.
Right.
Because they were paranoid about secrecy and they didn't want me to know, anything that I could possibly have, leaked, as it were. So but it was a strange situation.
Yeah. And what about Lucas? What's your relationship like with George?
None.
No relationship with George?
I haven't spoken to him since 1983.
It is what it is, I guess.
Okay.
But you did return to play Darth in a game, right? A board game that had a VCR. Didn't you?
Rebel Assault 2.
Rebel Assault 2?
Rebel Assault 2, yeah.
Ah, that's what it is. And you played Darth in that?
Yeah, I played Darth in that, yeah.
So what was it like getting back into the suit after all those years?
It was nice, actually. They sent the suit over.
Yeah.
On this particular one was slightly different in as much that I had to work to James Earl Jones's dialogue.
Yeah.
Because they sent the recording of James Earl Jones's voiceover, doing all the dialogue, and then I had to learn the dialogue myself, and then basically work to his voice. Mm-hmm. But it was a nice video game.
Yeah, and a lot of fun. I played it on the PC. I recall. Let me ask you this: have you seen the new Clone Wars TV show?
No.
Any
I'm
interest
not
in
very
watching
keen on
that?
No, not interested in the slightest.
So
No, it's not my scene. Animation, all that business. I'm not into that whatsoever.
Yeah. But you got to appreciate that it is helping bringing new kids into the mix.
Yeah.
Enjoy Star Wars, and they all know who Darth Vader is.
Yeah.
So I know I have two young boys. When I tell them I spoke to Darth Vader tonight, their jaws will hit the floor. So.
Yeah.
On behalf of them, hello. And they're big fans, too. So after it's all said and done, and I know this is kind of a what-if sort of question, but would you have played Darth Vader knowing what you know now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think with the knowledge I have now, I would have probably been more. What should I say? Can't explain it really, but with what you would have done things slightly different than what the way you did them originally.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I'm terribly, terribly sorry that my relationship with Lucasfilm, got so soured by this stupid article which appeared in one of the national newspapers in Great Britain, which, as I said, was nothing to do with me whatsoever. But the bastard of a reporter did an interview with me about my gym life and my work, and then went away and published an article and put loads of stuff in it saying that that Darth Vader was going to be killed off in the movie, and then of course Lucasfilm jumped on me like a ton of bricks.
Right.
And I said, well, it's nothing to do with me. I said, I don't know anything about what's going on in the film. I haven't got a copy of the script. I don't know the story. And but unfortunately, they wouldn't believe me. So it's things like that. I would have, I maybe would have said, well, thank you very much. I won't do any interviews when I'm working. So I don't have any possibility of being accused of anything.
Yeah.
That was probably the major thing.
But yet here it is all these years later, and you're out there meeting the fans, and actually you become a huge ambassador for Star Wars.
Well, I am. Yeah.
So regardless of what your relationship is with Lucasfilm, your relationship with Star Wars itself is still as strong as can be.
Yeah.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The fans recognize that, notice that, and you sign your autographs. Dave Prowse is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And no one will argue with that.
No,
I certainly won't, because I got the feeling you could pick me up and throw me across the room if you want, So, Dave, what's this I hear about a statue?
That's right, yeah. In Bristol, which is my home, my original home. I now live in London, but I was brought up in Bristol, and all my weightlifting career and everything started in Bristol, And there is a move actually to put up a big Darth Vader statue in a brand new shopping mall that's just opened. And at one stage there was they were trying to decide what sort of statue to put up, and somebody suggested we put Batman and Robin, and then everybody turned around and said, "Oh, what do you want Batman and Robin for? When you've got the biggest sci-fi icon in the world is a Bristol man who played Darth Vader." You see,
wow.
So now there is this big move where we're trying to get everybody to log on and log on to the site, and you can actually vote for Vader, as it were, vote for the Vader statue.
And so that'll be in your hometown.
It'll be in Bristol, yeah.
Wow, amazing. So where can fans go to vote?
No, this unfortunately, I can't. I don't know offhand.
Well, what about if they go to your website? Will they get that information?
They get on my. It's on my website. Yeah,
okay.
You get on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's that website again?
It's www.darthvader-starwars.com.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
So we'll try to get as many Forcecast listeners there to
All they got to do is log on to the site and register their vote, and it's as simple as that.
All right, let's get the vote out. Let's get that statue in Bristol for Dave Prowse, Darth Vader.
Yeah. Lovely.
I really appreciate you taking the time
Okay,
to
my
talk
pleasure,
to us.
my pleasure.
You're always welcome to talk to us, and anytime you want to promote
Great.
anything you got. I'm looking forward to picking up the CD.
Yeah.
And we'll give that a little spin too.
Yeah.
And
If you go onto the internet and listen to go on Losing Sun on the internet and log on, and you can hear the music, and it's being played all the time on Scuzz TV and things like this. All the big music channels are playing on a regular basis.
Cool.
Yeah.
If there was one song by the band that I could play on this show, what would it be?
A thing called Battering Ram.
Battering Ram.
Battering Ram, yeah.
Obviously,
yeah,
that's got rock and roll all over it.
Yeah.
Battering Ram.
Yeah. We got well, I mean, all the musicians. There's 4 musicians. They're all fantastic, but the drummer is sensational.
Yeah. Well, you know what? All great rock and roll bands need a great rock and roll drummer to hold it all together. So I look forward to hearing it.
And then you can wait for my record to come out.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, Darth Vader sings.
I'll be keeping my eye on the internet and everything. Oh, what about your website? You want to throw that out?
Yeah, the website that's www.darthvader-starwars.com.
Okay.
So anybody can get in touch with me through the website. What happens? Anybody can get in touch with me through the webmaster. I sell all my own photographs on the website and things like this. My books, a few other different things which we sell, but that's all done through the webmaster, who's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And as then anything personal goes to him, and then comes to me. He vets everything that comes through.
Great.
So it's but no, I'd love to. I love hearing from the fans, and if anybody wants to write to me and get in touch, they're more than welcome.
Excellent. Well, we love seeing you out at events like this.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Lovely. Thanks.
Lord Vader.
Yes, Master.
Rise.
Rebel Force Radio. Your source for the Force.